I stared at the pregnancy test in my trembling hands, the two pink lines blurring through my tears. This couldn't be happening. Not with him. Not with Aaron West, the notorious mafia boss who changed women like he changed suits. Our night together 3 months ago was supposed to be a one-time mistake. A lapse in judgment after he'd saved me from a carjacking outside my art gallery. One look from those piercing blue eyes and I'd melted like butter. Now I was carrying the child of the most powerful crime lord in the city. But here's the thing nobody tells you about accidentally getting pregnant by a mafia boss: his grandmother finds out first. And Italian grandmothers are terrifying in ways that hitmen could never be. I was in the middle of inventory when Nana West herself walked into my gallery, flanked by 2 bodyguards carrying pastries. "Sophia," she said, her accent thick and warm. "Sit. We talk." "Mrs. West, I don't. You carry my great-grandchild. Don't insult me with lies." She pushed a cannoli toward me. "Eat. Baby needs strength." My mouth fell open. "How did you? Aaron's mother saw you leaving clinic. She knows that look." Nana's eyes sparkled with mischief and steel. "Now, you tell my grandson, or I tell him. But better you tell him. He needs to hear fire in your voice, not shame." So that's how I ended up calling Aaron West, with his grandmother watching me like a hawk. "Sophia," his deep voice purred through the phone, sending shivers down my spine despite my terror. "I was wondering when you'd call. We need to talk. In person. And your grandmother is here." A pause. "Nana is where?" "Your gallery girl needs you," Nana shouted toward the phone. "Now, Aaron. Before I come get you myself." 30 minutes later, I stood in his penthouse office, surrounded by leather and mahogany, my knees weak as Aaron circled me like a predator. Nana had refused to leave, sitting in the corner like a judge. "Well," he demanded, his jaw clenched. "What's so urgent that Nana staged an intervention?" I thrust the test at him. "I'm pregnant." The silence that followed was deafening. Aaron's face went through a series of emotions: shock, disbelief, then something that looked almost like triumph. "You're sure it's mine?" I slapped him hard. Even Nana gasped. "Get out of my sight if that's what you think of me." He caught my wrist, his grip firm but not painful. "Calm down, Tesoro." I had to ask. His eyes softened slightly. "My family has been pressuring me for an heir. You've just given me something priceless." "Stupido." Nana smacked the back of his head with her purse. "You don't ask a lady that. You thank God she's giving you a gift." "I'm not some broodmare for your dynasty," I snapped, yanking my hand free. "And I'm certainly not raising a child with a man who has a different woman in his bed every week." Aaron's expression hardened. "You'll move into my estate. I'll provide everything." "No. Excuse me. You heard me. I'm not playing house with you while you parade your conquest around. If you want to be part of this baby's life, things change. Starting with your revolving bedroom door." Nana stood up, smoothing her dress. "The girl has brain. I like her." She pointed at Aaron. "You fix this, or you deal with me." After she left, Aaron stared at me with an intensity that made my knees weak. "You're making this difficult." "Good. Difficult is better than being a doormat." The next few weeks were a battle of wills. Aaron sent gifts, designer clothes, jewelry, even a car with a bow. I sent them all back with notes: "Try harder." He stationed guards outside my apartment. I called the police and his mother. He tried to control my doctor's appointments. I blocked his number and told his family the baby was healthy, just to watch him squirm when he had it secondhand. His sister Maria became my unlikely ally, texting me updates: "Aaron just punched a hole in his office wall because you returned the diamond bracelet. I'm dying. Keep going." Then came the charity gala. I'd been invited to showcase my art, and I wore a stunning emerald dress that showed off my belly there bump. I was talking with a potential buyer, the handsome architect named Julian, when Aaron appeared like a thundercloud. "Sophia. We need to talk. I'm working, I said sweetly, not looking at him. Julian, you were saying about the commission. Aaron's jaw ticked. It's important. So is my career. You know, the one I built without mafia money. Julian looked between us nervously. Is there a problem? No problem, Aaron growled. Just need to speak with the mother of my child. The temperature dropped 10 degrees. Julian excused himself quickly, and I finally turned to face Aaron. You don't get to stake claim in public when you won't commit in private. I've ended things with everyone else. Oh, have you? I pulled out my phone, showing him a tabloid photo from 3 days ago. Because this says you were at Club Nexus with a brunette draped over you. His eyes flashed with anger. That was Catalina Romano. We were negotiating. I don't care if you were negotiating world peace. You're either all in, Aaron, or you're just the guy who sends a check every month. You're being unreasonable. I'm being realistic, I countered. Your mother calls me twice a day begging to know her grandchild. Your sisters send me baby clothes. Nana shows up with food and life advice. Your entire family is obsessed with this baby, but you. You're still playing the field and expecting me to wait around like some 1950s housewife. His jaw worked, and for a moment I thought he'd storm out. Instead, he stepped closer, his voice low and dangerous. You think I don't want this? I haven't touched another woman since that night with you. Catalina was business, her father controls the port, and we needed to negotiate territory. It's been you, only you, driving me crazy for 3 months. My heart stuttered, but I kept my voice steady. Then prove it. Because right now, all I see is a playboy who wants his heir without giving up his lifestyle. What do you want from me, Sophia? Everything. Or nothing. There's no in between. Finally, he showed up at my gallery at closing time, his usual swagger replaced with something resembling desperation. You're being unreasonable, he growled. I'm being realistic, I countered, continuing to stack books. Your mother calls me twice a day begging to know her grandchild. Your sisters send me Italian recipes. Your entire family is obsessed with this baby, but you. You were photographed at a nightclub last week with a model on each arm. That was business. I don't care. My voice cracked. I won't let my child grow up watching their father disrespect relationships. I won't be the naive woman who thinks a baby will change a playboy. Either you're all in, Dante, or you're just the guy who sends a check every month. His jaw worked, and for a moment I thought he'd storm out. Instead, he stepped closer, his voice low and intense. You think I don't want this? I haven't touched another woman since that night with you. My heart stuttered. The photos were a meeting with the Kozlov family. Those women were Ivan's daughters, then we were negotiating territory. It's been you, only you, driving me crazy for 3 months. He cupped my face, his thumb stroking my cheek. I don't know how to do this, the relationship thing. I've never wanted to. But you make me want to try. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. Words are easy, Dante. Then let me show you. Dante didn't just change, he transformed. The tabloid photo stopped. His mother gleefully reported that he'd ended all his arrangements with various women. He showed up at my prenatal appointments, asking questions that made the doctor smile. But I kept my walls up. Trust wasn't built in a day. Then came the night everything shifted. I was closing the bookstore when 3 men in masks burst through the door. Rivals of the Moetti family, looking to use me as leverage. I barely had time to scream before gunshots rang out. Dante appeared like an avenging angel, his men flanking him. The fight was brutal and swift. When the smoke cleared, Dante was cradling me against his chest, his hands frantically checking me for injuries. The baby, he choked out, his usual composure shattered. We are okay, I whispered, tears streaming. We are okay. He buried his face in my hair and I felt wetness on my scalp. Dante Moretti was crying. I can't lose you, he said hoarsely. Either of you. You're everything, Bella. Everything I never knew I needed. That night, I finally went home with him. Living with Dante was nothing like I'd imagined. Yes, his estate was enormous and intimidating, but he made sure I had my own space, a library he'd custom built, filled with first editions and rare books. He was attentive but not smothering. Protective but respectful of my independence. And slowly, day by day, my walls crumbled. I watched him take phone calls at 2 a.m. to handle business, then immediately check on me to make sure I was comfortable. I saw him argue with his couples about putting legitimate business fronts first because he wanted a cleaner legacy for our child. The man was trying. Really trying. One evening, 6 months into my pregnancy, I found him in the nursery he'd designed, assembling a crib with an instruction manual and a look of intense concentration. You have people who could do this, I said, leaning against the doorframe. I want to do it. He looked up, a rare, genuine smile crossing his face. My father built my crib. It's a tradition. My heart melted completely. I walked over and knelt beside him, as much as my belly would allow. I love you, Dante Moretti. He froze, the screwdriver falling from his hand. What? I love you. Your stubbornness, your dedication, the way you read parenting books when you think I'm asleep. I love that you're trying so hard to be better. Not for your family's legacy, but for us. Dante pulled me into his arms, his voice rough with emotion. I loved you the moment you slapped me in my office. You're the only person who's ever stood up to me, challenged me, made me want to be worthy of something beyond power and fear. He tilted my face up, his kiss tender and full of promise. Marry me, Bella. Not because of the baby, not because of family pressure. Marry me because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Our wedding was small, intimate, just family and close friends. I wore a dress that accommodated my 8-month bump, and Dante couldn't stop touching my stomach throughout the ceremony. His vows made me cry. I was a king without a kingdom, powerful but empty. You gave me something to protect beyond territory, something to cherish beyond loyalty. You gave me love, and I'll spend every day proving I'm worthy of it. 3 weeks later, our daughter arrived. Dante held her with shaking hands, this tiny human who had the power to make the most dangerous man in the city weep with joy. Isabella Sofia Moretti, he whispered, kissing her forehead. Then he looked at me with such love it took my breath away. Thank you. For her. For us. For believing I could be more than what I was. As I watched him rock our daughter, singing a soft Italian lullaby his mother had taught him, I knew I'd made the right choice. The playboy was gone. In his place was a man who'd moved heaven and earth to prove his love, who'd changed everything about himself to be worthy of his family. Dante Moretti, the feared mafia boss, was now simply the man I loved, and the devoted father who'd already wrapped our daughter around his little finger. Sometimes the most dangerous risks lead to the greatest rewards. And sometimes, the bad boy just needs the right reason to become a keeper. 6 months later. Bella. Dante called from the nursery, panic in his voice. She spit up on me again. I laughed, walking in to find my powerful mafia boss covered in baby vomit, looking utterly helpless. Welcome to parenthood, Tesoro, I said, using his endearment as I handed him a bath cloth. He grumbled but smiled, pulling me close despite the mess. Still the best decision I ever made. Getting me pregnant. No, he said, kissing me softly. Convincing you I was worth the risk. Our daughter gurgled happily between us, and in that moment, our chaotic, unconventional little family was absolutely perfect.